everybody. This is Julia Lazarek coming to you live from WWDBTV. I've always wanted to say that. This is so exciting to be here and to be live. This is actually a first. And I'm so glad that you all could make it today. This will be recorded for people that can't make it. But for those of you that are here live, we will be accepting questions that you can put in the chat, or you can call 702-992-3207. And we'll be putting that in the chat too. Again, my name is Julia Lazarek. I'm the founder of Prison: The Hidden Sentence and co-founder of Prison Families Alliance. And I'm here today with Barbara Allen. We'll be bringing her on in a few minutes, who is the other co-founder of Prison Families Alliance. I started this journey when my brother was incarcerated, and I didn't have any information. I didn't know what to do. When he went to prison, when he was incarcerated, I felt the shame. I felt the guilt. I felt the pain, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. What is it that I could have done? The stigma. And it was really, really difficult, and especially during the holidays. And that's why Barbara and I thought that this would be really good to have during the holidays for anybody that has a loved one that is in the carceral system. And really, anytime you lose somebody, anytime that you have that empty seat at the table, it's really difficult. So we wanted to take these sessions, these 3 sessions that we're doing, and tell you a little bit about our stories, but then also hearing your stories, getting information from other people, and seeing how we can make it through the holidays, how we can navigate through the holidays, and also how we can make new traditions, because this is the new normal. I'm going to say a barbarism, and we'll hear some from her later, but it's like Alice in Wonderland. Nothing is as it seems. So as we move forward, we're going to learn how to traverse through this new system and also how to take care of ourselves. My brother was incarcerated quite a while ago, and he had a life sentence. He served 15 years of that life sentence because he died of hepatitis C. So my brother did serve his life sentence. And after he passed, I realized that I was grieving. I was grieving at his loss, but then I also realized that for the 15 years that he was incarcerated, I was grieving. And all of these feelings that I had were a culmination of him not being there, of missing him, of him not being at the table. I remember that first Thanksgiving, my brother was incarcerated just before Thanksgiving. And I'll never forget sitting there at the table with my family, having that empty seat, and nobody spoke about him. Even though he wasn't there, we didn't talk about it. And I think it was because we didn't know how. So having Prison Families Alliance, which is a support group for those of you that are calling in and online that haven't heard of it, Prison Families Alliance provides support for the prison family, for family members on the outside who don't have anybody to talk to, who might not have the information that they need. And we have several meetings a month, and maybe we could bring up that calendar just to show people that we are here to support each other, so nobody has to go through this journey alone. And if you look at the calendar here, this is just a sample of the meetings that we have to address all the different challenges that us as family and friends on the outside face. You can get more information about Prison Families Alliance at prisonfamiliesalliance.org. So we really invite everybody to join us. And we're so happy that you're here today. I know people are just joining now. And we're here to talk about how do we navigate through the holidays? How do we get through these times? Because it can be really difficult. And I'd like to bring Barbara in a minute. I want to let you know that Barbara and I are also authors. My book is Prison, the Hidden Sentence. And like I told you, that when my brother was incarcerated, I didn't know what to do. I had no idea. I didn't know where to go. So I wrote this because this has all of the information that I wish I knew, all of the information that I wish I had when my brother was incarcerated, and going through the whole process when he was arrested, when he went to court, when he was incarcerated, and then also what happens when somebody is in prison if they're ill or, like my brother, pass away. But most importantly, what's in here is how to take care of yourself. Because if you're not healthy, whether it's getting through the holidays or every day or visitation, those phone calls, whatever it is, that you need to take care of you. So that's what this is about, and that's what Prison Families Alliance is about. Barbara's book, Doing Your Time on the Outside, is her journey, her story. And I'm going to let you hear about it from her because she tells it way more eloquently than I can. And Barbara, to me, is the heart of the prison family. She's the matriarch of the support groups, of helping people. She's helped thousands of people over the years. And I'm just such an honor to be a part of this with her. So thank you, Barbara. And I'll turn it over. And one more last thing. You can get these books, a little commercial here. You can get these books on Amazon. So I highly recommend them. Very helpful for anything you're going through.
Okay. Hi, everyone. As Julia said, I'm Barbara, and Julia's a very hard act to follow. She says so many meaningful things, and I hope I can add to some of what she said to make it a little bit easier getting through the coming holidays. It was my husband who went to prison back in 1966, and I know some of you weren't even born then. But in 1966, December 8th, as a matter of fact, right before the holidays, my husband shot and killed his father in my kitchen. Okay, I said that. It's over. Believe me, folks, even after all these many years, it's very, very hard for me to say that. But it's important that you know that, so that you know that you can survive. We are all survivors. I say that we, the families, are the collateral damage of the carceral system. Carceral used to be criminal justice. We used to call it a criminal justice system, but there is no justice. So the name has been changed. And there's no justice for the person who's incarcerated, nor for us who are on the outside. We are forgotten, but we cannot forget. When my husband, Gene, went to prison, I was left with two small children. I have children who were 13 months apart, and they were about 2-ish and 3-ish at the time he went away, and I was left, and with no support whatsoever, as I know so many of you feel when you are thrust into this world, that there is no support. Where am I going to go? How am I going to get through this alone? And that's how I felt, the loneliness. I never knew anyone who had ever been in prison, jail. I had an experience as a student. I minored in sociology, so my class went to the notorious Rikers Island, the jail in New York City. And I remember as a student going into that jail and saying, oh my God, they're putting people in cages. This is the 19th century, and people are locked up in cages. And I went back and I lived my life until it happened to me. The only comfort I felt, the only time I felt I could breathe was when I was with other families on the lines waiting to go in to visit. That was my first initiation, as all of us who are on this call know and realize. It's when the arrest first happens and we go into the county jails, no idea what lies ahead of us, and totally alien. So I went into, and for me, it was the Nassau County Jail in Long Island. I'm from New York, if you haven't gotten that from my accent. And I went into the jail and I looked around and I saw other people. These people all were going to visit someone. And, one at a time, somebody behind me in line, I asked some kind of a question, and I got it. They understood. We were going through a similar experience. And through those people I started meeting at the county jail, a little group formed. We were they call it a grassroots group, but we were just a couple of families who were all doing our time on the outside. And we held on to one another for like life support jackets. And as I was talking to these people and realizing that maybe I could say a couple of things that will make it better for them. And it grew and it grew until we formed a group called Prison Families Anonymous. The anonymous was because of the stigma we all feel. And then I was many, many years later, I was fortunate enough to meet Julia at the Long Island, not Long Island, the International Prison Family Conference. Julia and I were both there for a couple of years, participated, and got to like each other. And come the pandemic, neither of us could continue with our in-person groups that we were both facilitating. We decided to go virtual and join and start this wonderful, wonderful group with all the wonderful people we met. And our goal is only to help you not to have to go through this journey by yourself. We're here for you. We understand. When Jean was arrested, as I said, it was December 8th, and my family celebrated both Hanukkah and Christmas. And Jean had already brought me a little gift. He had it in a little box on the fireplace. It was Chanel number 5. And that was the Christmas gift he never got to give me. So thank you very much, all of you. We do want to hear from you, whatever input you have. Oh, and I just wanted to show you our logo. I wear it around my neck. It's, well, you know what it is, of course. It's a heart behind bars. And that's where our hearts are. And we would like to now open it up. Anybody would like to join us, please, we're here. Thank you.
It'll be good to see you. I just was eating my candy cane, and I find that sometimes during the holidays or when I'm sad or thinking of somebody that wasn't there, that a candy cane makes me happy. So I think it's really good to bring people in, do things that you like. And Barbara, what are some things that make you happy?
Okay, well, I'll tell you one thing. We talked about the empty chair. Many holidays after I caught my breath and understood what my life was and what it was going to be, I tried to fill that empty chair by inviting someone over to share the holiday with me. And I've done that many, many years and still do. And it's either someone who's formerly incarcerated and doesn't have a family, or a family member who has no place to go. And I think that's a wonderful, to me. And as I said, my goal has always been no one to have to take this journey on their own. And we could do it one day at a time, one person at a time, one holiday at a time. So
yeah, we made it through Thanksgiving, right? We got through Thanksgiving. We're all here. We're online here. We're listening. And I think that was really nice what you said about bringing other people in. So if there's other people in your neighborhood, other people in your family, other friends that don't have anybody, that you still have that empty seat, and it's not like you're filling it, but it's an and, you're adding joy, because giving and receiving is the same. So even though your heart might be broken, because your loved one isn't there, by giving and bringing other people in, that could bring some joy and happiness and make things a little easier during the holidays.
Mhm. You're frozen.
And I
Okay.
think, well, I think a few other things too, we were talking about. I know that we've had so many support meetings and learned from so many of our families, what do you do during the holidays? And we've asked some of them to call in, so they might call in today or next Sunday, because we will have another session next Sunday. But some of the things that they said that really helps is if they can visit on a holiday and make that special. So have you ever visited, Jean, on a holiday?
Yes. Yes. I'm not sure if it was a day of the holidays. I told you he went to prison. It was in 1966. It was a long time ago, and I'm old. Let me say that. I sometimes forget things. I'm going to cop out to that. But I remember one holiday when my daughter, who maybe by then was 4, brought a little rock. They had painted a rock in this preschool as I guess, I'm not sure if it was a Father's Day gift or if it was a holiday gift, but it was for the fathers. And my daughter wanted to bring the rock to visit her when she went to visit her father. Well, I just let you know that did not go over too big with the correction officers. They did not want my daughter to bring a rock in, and she wanted to. So, sometimes you have to laugh at it. I often say, if you don't laugh, you cry. And there's so much that we could cry about. So
Yeah.
laughter has always been a good tool for me to use. And,
Yeah, you do that in your meetings too. I just love it that you can inject joy even no matter how difficult things can be.
yeah, your heart could be broken. And believe me, and I just wanted to say, it happened to me a long time ago, and maybe because I've been doing this work for so long and never stopped, it's I still feel it sometimes, and but you go on, you have to. We have no choice, holiday or not. Now I know that the prisons have the vendors. What do we call them? I told you I'm going to forget, like the automat, the one, no, not automat. You go into the machines and you
Yeah,
say,
the vending machine.
vending. I knew I'd remember the word. And I know many families who go on the holidays and they share a meal from the vending machine. But sometimes we have to say it's just a day. Okay, today it's a holiday. It's Christmas. It's Father's Day. It's his birthday, but it's a day. And as I tell our families, like they are, I feel it's our families. Every call you could get through one day if you know you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. You're just doing it for today. So today I'll have a sandwich from the vending machine and I'll be with my loved one. But it won't be forever. Tomorrow you go back to a regular life. We have to play games with ourselves, I think. We have to kind of fool ourselves a little bit, but it's doable. I've done it. And I'm not saying my husband was in prison all those years, but when he came out of prison, as many of you know, we had as many problems, and he was a frequent flyer. He went back over the years. So I'd have him home. He'd be sober for a while, then go back and have to start it all over again. You can, and you can survive, and you can laugh.
It's a journey, and look at us. We've made it through it, and we're here to support each other. And we have a call. So can we? This is first for Barbara and me going live and having this. So we have John over here helping us. So John, how is the caller on?
Yeah, Alexis.
Hi, thank you for calling in. Do you have a story that you'd like to share about about how you handle the holidays?
Sure. So my name is Alexis. My mom was incarcerated, and my son and I used to visit her throughout the holidays. I think she was in for like 4 years. Um, Everything Barbara said is so true. The vending machine, holiday meals, we would go every Christmas, every Thanksgiving. And now that she's home, she lives with me and my son. We still have memories of those times. And I think it's important to recognize the times I did have with her, even if she was wearing green. We still tried to make a point of being part of the celebration, and when we couldn't, we would do letters back and forth.
There's static.
It is about making the best of a situation, and I learned from my son, you have to play a game with yourself for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So what are like the first time that you went, or let's just say the first holiday, because I know that having a young son and it being your mom, how did you
Sure.
get through the first holiday?
So she was actually sentenced on my son's third birthday, which was in August, and we did Thanksgiving after she was transferred to the prison she was assigned to, and it was a really strange experience. For the first 2 years of visiting, my son thought she was at a schoolhouse teaching the correctional officers how to be nice to the women. And again, it was a game that he played. And that first Thanksgiving was definitely eye-opening. And I remember waiting in the line outside, very, very cold, and you befriend people you never thought you would befriend, and you guys all have one thing in common. You're there to visit a loved one on a holiday. And it's funny to say this, but there's certain aspects that you miss, and my son misses too. But we're definitely glad to have her home, and turkey from a vending machine, like a turkey sandwich, is a little bit different than turkey that you cook in your oven. But it comes down to being creative and putting in the effort to have that relationship with your loved one, for sure.
So Alexis, I really appreciate you sharing, and I know you guys have been through a lot, and that you're making new traditions and moving forward together. I was wondering if you have any words of advice for the other people that are on the line of something that could help them get through the upcoming holidays, whether it's Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Christmas or whatever people celebrate. What can help? What can you provide that you think could help somebody else? One thing.
Well, I didn't realize this at the time, but I wound up going to grad school to get my degree in social work while my mom was incarcerated. So looking back, I wish I took my own advice and really focused on my self-care. Worrying about what is going on with your loved one is very difficult, and a lot of times you just have to give yourself a couple of minutes each day to realize that you really can't control the situation and that you love them and you're doing everything you can for them, but you cannot do that unless you're taking care of yourself.
Excellent advice. The best advice I could think of. Yes.
It's hard, but you have to literally set an alarm on your clock, and that's kind of what I had to do many times. So, and I mean, it could be just drinking enough water during the day so you stay hydrated. We forget to do that when we're focused on other things.
No, thank you so much. Self-care is so important. Thank you for calling in, Alexis. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And happy holidays ahead.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I think it's so true, Barbara. I mean, as far as self-care, right? We talk about that in our meetings.
Yeah. Because it's so easy to forget about ourselves because we're so focused. And I know people who feel if they do something good for themselves, if they go on a trip, if they go to a theater, they feel guilty because their loved ones can't do that. And we have to work on that because by harming ourselves, by not being good to ourselves, we're not helping our loved ones.
Right.
If I thought that by sitting in the house and crying, my husband's or my son's life or my mother's or whoever, their lives would be better, I say, all right, go sit in the corner and cry. But you're not making their lives better and you're not doing anything for yourself.
And setting time aside to be sad
Yes.
is okay, but you need to get up. If you need to like stay in your pajamas one day, for self-care, that's fine. But the next day you get up and you get dressed, you take a shower and you get dressed and you move on. So you've got to take care of yourself, because like Barbara, it was so true. It's not helping them, but the better you are and the healthier you are, the better you can help your loved ones. And then the better, more you can help them, the happier they're going to be. So they're going to do better in their situation where they are in the carceral system, and also keeping that relationship together for when they are released. Right?
I learned this in the course that I took, and I say it a lot at meetings. But you have to let your emotions out. You have to feel your feelings. They're your feelings, and they're valid. And you're sad, and you're unhappy, and you're angry, and that's okay. But what you do with it, you can pick a time every day and say, I am going to at what time is it? 4:27 at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go into my room and I'm going to cry and I'm going to bang my pillows. But I'm only doing it for a half hour. But I'm going to do it and do it. No, get it all out. But you're in control because in a half hour you've got to get out of there and live. And I've tried that, and sometimes it works, folks. Sometimes it doesn't. But to try it, and we have to do whatever we can to get through this. That's just one tool that I learned.
Yeah, so let's talk about when that happens during the holidays. Let's say it's Thanksgiving. Let's go back to Thanksgiving, and the whole family's there, and you're missing your loved one. I mean, for me, I would go into the bathroom and get it out, release my feelings, wash my face, and come back out. And that's one of the things that I did. But what are some other things that we can do during the holidays if we are missing our loved one?
Okay. I remember one holiday, I think it must have been Christmas Day. I decided to go to a homeless shelter, not a homeless shelter, but where they were giving out food.
Mm-hmm.
And because I celebrate Hanukkah and not Christmas, I thought, gee, that would be a good thing for me to do. And that's something you can do. I'm very much a believer in if you do good for other people, it comes back to you. It's such a good feeling. Or sometimes, especially if you have children, you have to make the holiday fun. Okay, do you suggest sharing the gifts you and the kids receive for Christmas, Hanukkah, etc., with your loved one in prison?
Well, you can't share it physically, but we talk about sharing the holidays with our loved ones by sending pictures and talking about it, because the person that's incarcerated is still part of your family. So talking about what you did during the holidays, what the children got, and also for your loved one to be a part of those decisions, especially if it's a spouse, that they should have as much say as the spouse that's on the outside, right? Like, well, what are we going to get for little Johnny? What are we going to get for Kira? And make sure that your loved one is a part of those decisions. So I think that's part of it, Barbara.
And also say to your child that the gift is from your mother and father, or whoever might be your brother, whoever is away, that the gift is, because it is from their heart. So they may not be able to actually buy the gift, but that they're part of it. For Christmas, Well, I guess for the past almost 40 years, prison families, that then it was Prison Families Anonymous, has gone to our county jails and given toys out to the children who visit. So I find a, a, some way to make life better for other children who might have a parent incarcerated or a sibling incarcerated. Toys for Tots or whatever organization, remind them that this population of children can use help also.
You know, it's so true. And Prison Families Alliance here, over the past couple of years during the pandemic, when, like you said, couldn't go into the jails to give the gifts, that we've provided gift certificates. So there's still time if anybody wants to make a donation to prisonfamiliesalliance.org. You can go on to the donate page and make a donation, and that will go towards gift certificates towards our families. So that's what we continue to do.
And also, if anyone who's on the call needs to have a little contribution to make their lives and the children's lives better, let us know. Because if you don't let us know, we can't help you when we'd love to. That's what we do. That's what we want to do.
That's right. We're here for support. We're talking about the holidays and things that we could do during the holidays. If anybody that's on the line has a suggestion or wants to share something they've done or has a question, you can put it in the chat or you can call, and we'll put the number back up there. And just like Alexis shared some of the things that her family did during the holidays, which was really helpful. And we talked about self-care and how important self-care is. Because I know when my brother was incarcerated, I did not take care of myself. There were so many things that I didn't know. And we talked to a lot of families, and they're just so appreciative that they found Prison Families Alliance, or they're appreciative that they've listened to the podcasts on prison, the hidden sentence, that they don't feel alone and they're getting the information that they need. And number one is self-care, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. And I wanted to share in a meeting we had the other day, we talked about, things that people do. And one person was talking about decorating, that every year she would decorate for Christmas. And her son is incarcerated. And she said, you know what, this year, I just want to put up a wreath. I just really don't feel like decorating. And it wasn't out of depression. It wasn't for any other reason, that this is how I feel right now. And that's okay. If you don't feel like decorating, if you just want to do a little decorating, that's fine. But do it out of what is working for you, that you think that is healthy for you, I should say. It's not going into a hole and saying, I'm not participating. It's saying, well, why don't I want to? Well, I just think that this year, I just want to do a little bit of decorating, and that's fine. So the point is, you do what's right for you.
That's right. There are no shoulds or musts. And that's very much in line with what you're saying, Julia. I see what are some things others can do to support PFA. I see someone wrote that. Want to take that, Julia? You're the thinker.
There's a lot of things people can do. Well, really, it's if you need support, that we're here. Like Barbara said, during the holidays, we have meetings so that people can come to meetings. If you have a family that needs a little extra support, we'd love to provide some gift certificates to them to make the holidays a little bit easier for them.
How can they support you?
And I'm being told, how can they support us personally, is of course through donations. The more that we have a lot that we want to do moving forward. So if anybody wants to make donations, like I said earlier, you can go to prisonfamiliesalliance.org to the donate page. Also, if anybody wants to volunteer, because like we said earlier, giving and receiving is really the same. A lot of times people will say, well, let me do this for you. And you're like, no. And it's really like, them offering is also them receiving, because when somebody does something good, it feels good to them. So it's not only helping you, but it's helping them. So I think that if you're in a position to do any type of volunteering, that would be great. If you want to create any groups in person in your area, we'd be more than happy to help support you there. And that's really supporting us, because it's supporting our families, and we're all about supporting our families. Because if you look at the statistics, just real quick, even though the United States has only 5% of the world population, we have over 20% of the incarcerated population. We have about 2 million people in the prisons, in state and federal prisons, and then another 5 million people that are in jails on parole and probation. So if you take all those numbers, you take all of the family numbers, there's millions of people out there that don't have the support, that don't have the information that they need. So we want them to come to Prison Families Alliance. We want them to come to Prison the Hidden Sentence. We want them to get the information they need. We want to be able to provide the resources. We want to strengthen people. We want to create awareness, because the more that people know, the healthier people are, the bigger voice we can have. That's how we can move forward and work with people in the carceral system and make change. So it's just one big puzzle, and we're bringing all the pieces together so that we can support each other. So roundabout is how you can support PFA: volunteer, donations, get involved.
And so, yeah, and also by getting strong and being an advocate. There are so many organizations out there that we could join with who are doing advocacy work. I know I'm going to be presenting, and in person, I have to actually have pants on. I'm going to go and speak about this month. The program is Community Not Cages.
Mhm.
It's an organization that I work with, and we're going to be presenting how we can change the whole philosophy of locking people up and putting them into community facilities. I know I'll think of it. I told you I'm old and I forget things. But community-based programs rather than prisons.
Yeah.
We're working on getting clemency for people who have been away for a very long time. I work with a group called RAPIS, Release Aging People from Prison, and they're working with a parole group, parole preparation. There's so much out there, but we can't participate in those organizations until we strengthen ourselves. So we start with us, and then we branch out to the community and hope to make changes so that there won't be that many families. We don't want to have so many families who need us. There should not be this mass incarceration, so many people going to jail, and some of the states that still have capital punishment. I mean, these are the things that affect our families. So, but we have to be strong ourselves to be able to advocate for the system.
Yeah, what we say is that we're the group that nobody wants to belong to, but we're glad you're here. And we do have another question that somebody put in there, that if you do volunteer for an in-person group, how do you get people to participate? So really, it all depends on where you are. We have facilitators across the United States. However, if you're in an area where there is not a facilitator or somebody from PFA, we can work together. There's a lot of things we can do to get a group started. So we'll work with anybody that wants to do that. And then if there's already a group in your area, we collaborate with a lot of groups that are out there. So we're not the one and done. Like Barbara was saying, there's a lot of groups out there, and our goal is to be as collaborative as possible with the groups that are out there that are doing the good work. That we're here to educate people, to raise awareness, but also to work with law enforcement, to work with attorneys, to work with other people that are out there, because that's the only way we're going to make change. So going back to the support group, just reach out to us. You can email connect@prisonfamiliesalliance.org. Again, we'll put it in there. That's connect, CONNECT, at prisonfamiliesalliance.org. And one of our volunteers will get back to you. And we, just answer really if anybody has any other questions, you can just email us, and we'll do whatever we can to support you and get things going. So it's just really important that we keep the communication going. Barbara spoke about the International Prisoners Family Conference earlier, where we met. The name just changed to Connecting for Justice. And there's a lot of programs out there. There's conferences. They'll be meeting in September. So we'll be, sharing information about that. Any other events that we hear about that that we support, we'll go ahead and share that information. So, and I know in Barbara's book, she has information on starting a group. So PFA would be more than happy to support anybody.
Yeah. And the only one other person to start a group. If you have one other person, you have the beginnings of a support group. You support each other. And as I said, when I started Prison Families Anonymous, those many years ago, I met other people, and that's how we started. It was not anything formal.
Yeah, and that's how Donna, who started the group that I was involved with here in Las Vegas, the same thing. Friends and family of incarcerated persons was the same, just people coming together. And I think that's happening across the United States. So if there's other groups out there that are grassroots that would like to share information, if there's anybody on here that is part of another group, feel free to let us know, because I think we're stronger together. The more support we can provide, the stronger we'll be. And I think we're going to wrap it up here in the next few minutes. So is there any other questions out there? Any other suggestions? Anything that anybody's done that they want to share? Because we have guests coming on next week. So there's several things. We have more information that we want to share next week, other things that people can do, other traditions you can create. We didn't talk about a few things that people might want to do during the holidays. There's a few treats, a few things that families do that they want to share with us next week. So we hope you all come back, same bat time, same bat channel. And this will be this will be recorded. It is being recorded. We're live and it's being recorded, a first for me. And we'll have this available on WWDBTV and on the Prison the Hidden Sentence podcast. We'll have links to it in the Prison Families Alliance newsletter. So is there anything else that anybody has? And if not, I'll pass it over to Barbara. Oh.
Okay. I'm so glad that we had, what did he say? I'm so glad we've had this time together. Someone said that. I didn't make that one up. But I am very glad that we're here. Mm-hmm. And I hope that we helped you just a little bit. Whatever we do, one little piece at a time, if we were able to help someone get through the holidays. And you have my phone. Well, they don't have my phone number. But if you call Julia at Connect PFA, I'm always happy to speak with you, and sometimes it helps during the holiday just to talk to someone and know you're not alone, and we're here.
Yeah, our volunteers do return calls. We return emails. So that's another thing that people come to us and they'll call and say, oh my gosh, somebody answered the phone. So, we try to, we have volunteers. So it's not a woman or man 24 hours a day, but we do answer the phone. We do return calls. And I wanted to add something else that you just said, Barbara, and I should have written it down. It's not just you.
I'm contagious.
So we talked about next week, and somebody had put in their churches in Al-Anon. And we have, I know locally here that we've met in churches, and that is a good place to find meeting places. So that's something we can discuss if you want to do that. Yeah. And then we are really the Al-Anon of the criminal justice system. We're not incarcerated, but our loved ones are.
Yep.
So when you think of Al-Anon and the support that they do, that's kind of what we do, except for the criminal justice system. So that's how a lot of times we explain it to people. And I know I know that some of the things when Barbara started her organization followed some of that, because
Yes.
there's just so many similarities.
When I started Prison Families Anonymous, I was a member of Al-Anon, and I went to their main, whatever they're called, and I asked if we could use their opening. So the opening that we devised for Prison Families Anonymous, and I think we used part of it for Prison Families Alliance, came right from Al-Anon.
Yeah, and
So-
it's really important. It's proven. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. So I think we're going to close, and I want to just thank everybody for being with us. We'll be live again the next 2 Sundays. So please join us. And if you have any questions, the email is up there. Check out our website. And we're going to get you through the holidays. We're going to get through it together. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.